Apart from the home, now we are talking, I agree, family is the smallest nucleus of society, so it plays a vital role. We all came from families, so that's how society is made. But to what extent is our geography, our border governance or management, and regional security a part of all of this?
That's why, as I said, there are quite a lot of causative factors. We just picked one yet. I mean, you just mentioned the others. For instance, if you look at talking about geography, geographical location, and that is where the country is placed, and our population. All of these are targets for. Don't forget that this is not something peculiar or limited to Nigeria. This is an international thing. This is a global menace. It's a global scourge. And so the international cartels driving the market, driving this whole thing, they are out there with billions of dollars. That's why I think your report did say that it's indeed a multi-billion-dollar industry. And so the forces driving them, they are out there. And that's why we not just, for instance, the NDLA is not just galvanizing and mobilizing efforts and resources within the country. We are also looking at connecting with all the various international forces, talking of the source nations where these things are coming from. I mean, the last MOU that we signed was with Brazil. That the Brazilian authorities, which was just this week at the Villa, when the high-power delegation from Brazil visited Nigeria, led by the Vice President of Brazil. And if you look at most of the cocaine seizures that have been made, they came through Brazil. And I remember in our engagement with the Director Public International Cooperation of the Brazilian Police, when we had an engagement with him after the signing of the MOU, where he came into our office just to deliberate on how to, on the implementation of the MOU, he indeed said, even these things coming from Brazil, they are not grown or processed in Brazil itself. They come through Peru and Bolivia. That's where the bulk of the cocaine. While Brazil itself is also a transit because of its ports. Do you understand? So, but now what we're doing is to strengthen our relationship, our ties with them, to ensure that anything, any ship, any flight coming from that place, just as we do here. That's why the NDLA, I mean, it's extremely difficult for anybody to pass through airports now with anything, whether you swallow it, whether you conceal it in any part of your body or in any part of your luggage or whatever. We have the intelligence drive, we have the technological tools to detect all of those things. So as much as we are protecting other jurisdictions from this scourge, so we also expect those sources, those places where these things come also to do their own bit, while as much as possible we also open our eyes very wide and ensure that these things don't enter our country. But then don't forget, I think you did mention that we have quite a lot of porous borders. But because of this, that's why in the recent report by the BBC, apart from cannabis, the next most abused illicit substances in Nigeria is the opioid, especially tramadol and codeine-based syrup. And in a recent report done by the BBC, which was actually conducted in India, where most of the opioids also come from, indeed, one of the companies shipping those things into Nigeria told the BBC undercover that, yes, we are ready to produce these drugs for you to ship, but then it's difficult for us to ship into Nigeria because the NDLA will detect and they will seize it. But what we can do is we ship to the neighboring country, any of the neighboring countries, and then from there you can now be smuggling them in. It was in that report, and we're glad that indeed even the manufacturers, the producers themselves acknowledge the fact that it's difficult to ship those things directly to Nigeria because the NDLA will definitely get them. But then they have to devise other means of taking them to our neighboring countries from where they smuggle these things to.
Since you know that they smuggle through neighboring countries, what are you doing about that?
Oh, absolutely. That's why we're also extending our partnership, our relationship with those countries. We've had MOUs with a number of them. We have a very good working relationship with Ghana. We have a very good working relationship with Gambia, Sierra Leone, all of them. We're building those networks also to ensure, apart from the fact that, you see, we have also made quite a lot of seizures at those areas, because we have the tools to monitor, to track some of them, quite a number of them who especially take advantage of these night travels, these buses that go to the West African nations, our neighbors, over that travel over the night. And so quite a number of them we've grabbed 2 a.m., 3 a.m. when they arrive with those buses. And so those are the way they just go with, just coming with a Ghana must go bag or a traveling bag. You know, a tramadol-filled traveling bag, you know what that can do. You know what the cost, all those things, what the impact on our community. So they just come in light. But then even at that, because we have the means to track some of their movement and their plans. So we still get them at those borders, definitely.